Good morning, iPros agents, and Happy New Year. Happy 2023, and welcome to our first session of iProsTV for this new year. And we're really excited about today's topic. We have some special guests, and we'll start with Daniel Ulloa, who is with National Life, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his products, the onboarding process, and much more. We also have Mr. Emmanuel Villaseñor, welcome.
Hey.
Director of Life Products here for iPros. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Emmanuel, who's going to take the lead on the presentation.
Thank you. Hey, welcome everybody. We're so happy to start this 2023. As you know, it's everybody's doing their New Year's resolutions. Everybody's thinking of how they're going to make this year happen. And one of the things that we talked last time was about the life insurance products. Well, I am very, very excited that we have the opportunity to have Daniel Ulloa in the house. I have known Daniel Ulloa for a couple of years, and it is a privilege to have him because of how National Life has grown so much as a company. And we have the opportunity, for those that are still on the fence thinking about doing life insurance, for Daniel to tell us about the company National Life Group. And one of the best things about it is many times we hear the message from somebody that heard the message and somebody that heard the message before that. Well, I think is nothing's better than to get the message from the horse's mouth in a way almost, but from one of the leaders of one of the companies. So thank you for being here, Daniel.
No, thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Juan, for having me out here in iPros. And good morning to everybody here that is joining us this morning. It's very exciting to be here with you guys today. I'm very excited about that relationship and friendship that we built over the years, and also very excited about what we're going to be doing together this year and the years to come. So I know that 2023 is already almost halfway or past halfway through January, but I think that this comes at a great time, especially as you guys are finishing out a little bit of that enrollment season. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for a lot of your clients to be talking about some of the things that we're doing and that you learned today about National Life Group and who we are and how we can help you grow your business on life and annuity side as well, as we talk through some of those things today.
Awesome. We had a huddle yesterday, Emmanuel, and we were talking about from a producer standpoint. I think one of the things that makes iPros special and the team that makes up iPros is that we've all been in the trenches. We've all produced, right? And we were talking about, in a good way, about National Life. And you mentioned why you honed in on National Life from a producer standpoint. I thought it'd be important for you to share from that standpoint why you honed in on National.
Definitely. One of the things that happened in my background is I got that call, and many you can relate. I got that call. They say my resume look amazing, and I went in, and it happened to be an insurance company looking for one more agent. So I got contracted. I worked there. I love the industry. I love helping people, and I ended up doing it for 10 years, captive. And you know that word, captive, kind of gives you chills sometimes, But for those that were captive, as all I saw, and I had blinders on, and I worked really hard on that company. But when I got the chance to become independent, I was introduced to National Life Group, and I was mesmerized by the fact of everything that they're doing. So one of the things that we want to do in this show is to tell you some of the things that kind of separate National Life. But to answer your question, Juan, is imagine that you only get to eat one type of food, and then eventually you get to eat all the foods. But every now and then you just come back to certain food, even though you have the options. My kids love to eat, but he loves, and the good thing is we're not on radio like I do radio in Arizona. He loves Panda Express. I'm like, come on, we have all these choices
of junk food,
of other junk food. Yeah. Why do you want Panda Express? Yeah. But it's not that it's the best of the worst. No, it's the best of the best. I now as an independent agent, and then later on with agencies, you end up coming back to using National Life because of how they not only treat the agents, because that's very important, but also how they fulfill their promises. And that's another thing that you want to. Sometimes it's not about the cheapest product or the most affordable product. Sometimes it's also about having all those things together to bring the most value to our clients. And I do believe National Life, without not because it's right here, but they have been and they have turned into that. Even though I have many options, and we have options, they have always become one of the companies that we gravitate to the most.
Mm-hmm. And Daniel, just as a point of reference, one of our niche products is Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and I'm guilty of this as well. When I used to sell, and I see that with the majority of our agents, is we have our go-to health plans that we go to, sure, because we like their platforms, we like their benefits, we like the account executive, et cetera. And that's what I heard from you, that National Life has been your go-to.
Correct.
From a product standpoint, from an account servicing standpoint. So that's why we wanted to bring you in to talk about your product and how National Life can become one of those go-to carriers, especially when you look at ITIN, right? We have a lot of consumers that we service that are undocumented. So that was really powerful to me, that when we have undocumented individuals that say, do you have something for me? And historically, we'd have to walk away and say, we don't. Now we can say, yeah, we have these healthcare programs that we offer for the undocumented. And we also have this important piece of what everybody should have in their life is some type of life insurance. So we'll be diving deeper on that. So on that note, we're just going to take a brief pause because Emmanuel's going to take it from here so they can do a deep dive on the product. So we're just going to take literally a 5-second pause and then we'll take it from there. Daniel, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Awesome. So I'd love to piggyback a little bit on what you were talking about, right? So I think that I share some of your background, as you know. We've had a lot of conversations, dinners, and et cetera together. I've been in the business for 15 years, 11 years now with National Life Group as a director of independent distribution. And before that, I was in the captive side as well, as you know. And I think that some of the things that you get to start learning about National Life Group and why does it make sense to partner with somebody like us, and as you said, you kind of come back to us, right? Is because of what you said, the fulfillment of those promises. And something that I'd like to piggyback on that and share with you guys and gals that are here listening to us is just in 2022. So, you know, these numbers are fresh. We're starting 2023, right? Just in 2022, so you get an idea about National Life Group, we paid $3.8 billion in benefits to our clients.
Wow.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about the things that are covered in that. But that basically means death benefit claims that we paid, right? People that pass away. Includes living benefits, which we'll talk about today as well, as to why that makes us unique in the marketplace. And then also that includes cash value accumulations that people are taking advantage on different insurance products on the permanent side. So whenever you talk about fulfilling our promises, to me, there is no better number that I can provide to you and everybody else, right? That's 3.8 billion, right? That's just in last year. That's the difference that we made. And something else that I'd like to mention as we're talking about National Life Group, and you guys get to learn a little bit about us. This year, we're turning 175 years old.
There you go. One of the things that a lot of people ask is how long have they been around? I never heard of them, or I never heard of different companies. And now that I'm going back and forth from Arizona to here to California, I haven't heard many companies that everybody here is super familiar with. You know, sometimes it's regional products and everything else. How come we haven't really heard from National Life? Where are they? Where's their commercial?
Great question. So it's I tell you, 175 years that as a company we have basically sided on the side of not doing any advertisement. It sounds weird.
It does.
In a world that is driven by advertisement, right? Everywhere you walk, everywhere you see, there's a company in front of you selling you something. But as a company, we have decided that that money that we will be utilizing for advertisement purposes, whether it is through a commercial ad on TV, whether it is through doing different things of that nature, sponsoring a stadium, etc. We have decided actually to reinvest that into the community.
Okay.
So as a company, you're not going to see a TV ad, and that's probably a lot of people why haven't heard of us or haven't seen us. But we're kind of like the quiet company that in the background is reinvesting into programs for teachers, for firefighters, for policemen, looking at different causes, contributing to agents that work with us, to some nonprofits that they work with, and everything else. So to us, it's a lot better use we have felt throughout the years to utilize that money to do things to benefit the community, as opposed to get our name in a way of marketing out there. So with that being said, the results kind of speak for themselves, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of the things that, in doing research before coming to talk to you, and we put it on the flyer for this meeting, for this Zoom, for this iProsTV, is that, you guys are becoming one of the top IUL providers in the nation. And that's a product that many people have heard of whole life, but the IUL, or let me just say the full name, the Index Universal Life products are not only a product that can do a lot for the client, but it also is a product that you guys have a big hold onto what the market is doing.
Yeah. So, so if I tell you, and touch a little bit on what you're talking about, as a company, we were doing back in 2010, about $100 million worth of life insurance sales a year.
Okay.
Fast forward last year, 2022, we finished at 472 million.
It's 400%.
Yes, it's a big jump, right? We went from being a company that was top 100 in sales of overall life insurance in the United States to where now we're knocking on the door of the top 10. We're number 11 currently, right? So as a company, going back to, we're talking about the marketing aspect, we haven't felt that we needed to change that, because the products and the company, as you guys get to learn about it, it kind of speaks for itself. So people, tend to gravitate once you learn about the company, right? So then going to what IUL, right, which is part of that has fueled that growth that you're talking about. And that has gotten us. And actually, we're the number one seller of Index Universal Life in the country.
Wow.
Currently. Then especially that product that we're talking about, the Index Universal Life, it's been around since 1997. That's whenever the first company that came into the market with it.
And it seems like I seen some TikToks, I seen everything. It's almost like he just came out yesterday, but no.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It hasn't. It came out in 1997. The company that started it, that was kind of like the pioneers of Index Universal Life, is actually no longer in the market. And we were actually the second company to enter the Index Universal Life space.
Wow.
So we actually have the longest standing issuance of Index Universal Lives in the country, which works really well because in the world of index annuities, specifically talking about flexible index annuities, where people can make a contribution in a monthly basis, etc. We were actually the company that were the pioneers of that in 1996. So the year prior to that.
So you kind of got going the annuities first, and then it turned into the IULs.
Right. So we had the experience of starting to work with the index side of the strategies. So it was a smooth transition for us to start doing Index Universal Life that now has turned into where we are today as the longest standing issuer of it, the number one provider of it out there in the country. And then for also, if you guys look out there, the Index Universal Life, why it's so relevant, is the fastest growing product in the life insurance world as far as sales are concerned. So that's
people
really
are asking for it. People sometimes they don't even know what the name of it, but they know what it does, and they say, I want to kind of take care of with $1, with one payment, I want to take care of multiple things, and in the Index Universal Life does that. But without getting too much into the weeds, because I know that many of you are looking at this iProsTV just to kind of learn a little bit about National Life, but also see, about life insurance altogether. If you have somebody that right now is currently doing Medicare, which is many people that are watching this, and is looking into doing life insurance, what will you say some of the highlights of doing life insurance through National Life that you guys have?
Yeah, so as far as National Life Group, I'll piggyback that with we solely focus in two lines of products, right?
Okay.
And that is life insurance and annuities. We do not do anything else. That's our bread and butter. And as a company, we don't have any plans on changing that. Uh, through the life insurance world, we have your term insurance that you guys are probably familiar with, right? 10, 15, 20, or 30 years typically, that is going to cover you in case anything happens during that specific time frame that the client buys. We have the Index Universal Life that we talked about. And then we also have still whole life products, right? So whole life products is the oldest form of insurance, the first of its kind actually since the 1800s, and we still have it. And then we also provide universal life as well out there. So we have the full suite of life insurance products to provide to you as you are getting to out there to start to talk to your clients about life insurance. So that's important, right? Because no matter who you're talking to, whether it's a client that just needs a coverage to just cover some things, where a $50,000 death benefit, right? Just maybe cover some funeral expenses, some of those things along those lines, up to a client that may need to be doing some estate planning that is looking at couple $1 million plus of life insurance. We have the full spectrum, and we have the full spectrum also from a ease and also price standpoint, because somebody may not be able to start with a permanent insurance plan, whether it's a whole life, IUL, etc., and they can start with a term. And that, many times people think that to buy life insurance, you need a lot of money. And the reality is that a term insurance plan can be extremely affordable.
And then you can do a conversion from there.
Absolutely. And then, we allow for them to go to a permanent product for the majority of the time that they have that term product that they buy with us. So with us, you get access to all of the solutions really that your clients are going to encounter out there. And also that you're going to then be able to offer them regardless of what they're looking at, right? So from that standpoint, you got that from us. As a company, something that I'll touch on right now, we really like to innovate, and you've seen this over the years, right?
Yeah, no.
How we have continued to change different things and look at what we're doing. And why do I mention that? Ease of doing business, right?
Okay.
Ease of doing business.
And that's very important, because you can have the best product, but if your dashboard, and it happened to me with other carriers, where how do I look at my clients? How do I find out, you guys have an amazing dashboard?
Yeah, and I think that, I love the dashboard that we have, of course, but I also love, many times I speak to many agents and agencies throughout the country that they're like, I'm doing business with X carrier, and it's been 20 days since I submitted the policy.
Oh, man.
And I don't know where we are yet.
Time is money, and you can say, we want to use the carrier that is always got to be the easiest to use, because the client's also waiting for that policy to at least have an answer on it.
Right. And, we've heard your feedback. And of course, everybody is one of the things that you guys will get to see about National Life. As I mentioned, we like to innovate and get better. And one of those things is doing what? Listening to you all. Listening to what you guys have to say, how we can improve. So, of course, we don't want you losing a client, right? Many times you may lose a client because somebody may take too long to give them an offer to accept them. So where we are today, and I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about our process, about the ease of doing business with us, is that traditionally life insurance products, for the most part, and still most carriers out there, are going to require the client to do some kind of blood, urine exam. At National Life Group, about 99% of applications that come through the door, whether it's a term product, whether it's an Index Universal Life, whole life, any type of product with us, 99% of them are going through without any type of blood and urine from the client. So we're able to make decisions about a client, where they're going to fall in the health rating, etc., in a fast way. And you've seen this where you submit an
that's very
application.
important, because when one of the things that a lot of times people, and maybe you already tried life insurance before, but things have changed. And one of the things that happened to me is, I used to, this is like the snow story, everybody tells the snow. I walked the snow back and forth, to go to school. But I remember when I was working in insurance in the beginning, I had to do an exam to test if they use nicotine. Right there on the spot. It was a swab right there on the spot, and of course you had to put, it was just a process. And people would tell me I was crazy. And I was like, well, that's what the company's asking for. I need to do it, And then exams kind of started. And now, having carriers available to us, such as National Life, that have the opportunity that no exam is required, is just making everything kind of ease of doing business. And that's very important.
Right. So, so where we are today with that actually is that 40% of the policies that are submitted to us, and I know that you have experienced this, you submit it, and 40% of them, they're approved less than an hour later. Beautiful. And we're able to issue them also, right? So think about, again, as you mentioned, many times when we're talking to people that haven't really dove in, or they have a bad experience because it took too long and everything else, just about half of the people that you'll be doing business with us are going to be able to basically get in the express lane, I like to call it, right?
I like it.
Where is submitted, approved, and you're moving on to the next, and we're able to provide all those things for them. So I think that that's a huge win and something that has fueled part of our growth. We love the multicultural market, and talking about that, right?
Yeah.
We love the multicultural, and about 5 years ago, we started looking at how else we could do more business with the multicultural world, right? Mm-hmm. And as we started to dive into that and look at different things for it to make sense, because we wanted to provide those benefits. I mean, you look at America, and it's multicultural, yeah. Right? So we looked at it, and we were able to find basically the things that we needed to in order to provide those benefits, as we were talking earlier.
And as an agent, I can tell you is the you'll be surprised how in certain carriers sometimes it's difficult to get materials in Spanish, for example. And one of the things that I love about, doing business with National Life is that you have the flyers in Spanish, you have a bunch of things that are in Spanish. And of course, the calling the 1-800 or the number and getting in Spanish, that's becoming a little more normal, which is great. But the flyers and the information in Spanish, and also was a big difference between translation and actually being multicultural. And I believe you guys have that because your staff and people are involved and they know the cultures that are that they're trying to approach.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And, we've gone through this with everybody, right? Our marketing people, our contact center people, our people that are doing the underwriting. They are, we've gone through them to have them understand different things. Because like you said, one thing is to say we do business in that market, and another one is to truly, as a company, understand that business. And we've gotten to the point where across the board, I could confidently tell you that, yes, we are there. We're a multicultural company. Everybody understands, which is why we do business with people with ITIN numbers, for example, right? Mm-hmm. That most carriers out there do not touch.
No, I'll tell you a funny story. I mean, it was when I was first looking around for carriers, and this is about 7-8 years ago, and I call a company and I say, hey, I have a client that has an ITIN. They ask me, what is that? And I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble,
Right.
And that's one thing that I liked about National Life, that they have embraced that market, because it's a market that, they have their kids, they have everybody, they need protection.
Yeah. And to go even, I think, above that, not only have we embraced it, we made it normal. Right. And I like that because we do not also, right? There's some carriers that have said, well, we do some business, but they put all these parameters around it, right? like
Yes.
so much coverage, or they cannot get this, or things like that, where we have actually embraced it, and we make no distinction between a client that doesn't have one or a client that has one. We give them the exact same benefits.
No price change, or there's nothing like that.
Right.
That's amazing. One of the things that I mean, before we don't want to miss the opportunity of you guys listening to Daniel. It's the living benefits, and that's something that yes, many times especially when you're doing some term insurance, you are just looking at that price, but right next to it, and if you're looking at a column of different prices, right next to it might be National Life Group, couple dollars maybe right next to it, but is a living benefits, what I believe can not only help the client, but also it can help you when you're presenting, make the client understand something, that this is not just your old life insurance.
Absolutely. And that, talking again about that fuel as to how we have grown so much, right? Living benefits have a lot to do with it. And living benefits, so you guys truly have an understanding, is basically what we refer to as we provide life insurance that you don't have to die to use, right?
Okay.
Which that goes against that common thought process or definition that a life insurance policy gives you a benefit whenever you just passed away.
And I heard that in Spanish, death insurance,
Right. Right. And so we changed that, right? So we started advertising this back in 1937.
Okay.
Now, we didn't have the full suite of things that we have today, but that's whenever we kind of started to think differently. Fast forward to today, we're still the pioneers so when it comes to all those things, right? And those living benefits that we provide. And I'll tell you, as an agent, and I also as working with many of people now over the last 11 years and helping them build the agencies and everything else, something that I always say is, in this business, whenever you get into the life insurance business, the day that you really realize that you wanna make this a full practice or integrated with whatever it is that you guys are doing out there in the health space as well, is whenever you have that first claim.
Correct.
Right? That first death benefit that you pay out, where you realize that what you're selling to your clients actually works.
It turns the paperwork into real life.
Right. And I know that you have experiences with that, and it like I said, that's the moment when you realize that. What I love even more about living benefits is that your client doesn't have to pass away.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put this into perspective for you guys, a first living benefit, which most carriers out there today have, but our definition or how we look at it is a little bit more comprehensive as far as length of time, etc. Is terminal illness, right? Terminal illness, we look at it 2 years or less to live, where most people out there, most carriers that have something like that, look at it 6 months. Why do we see that as a relevant thing, or why do I love that story? Because now you can have somebody that is diagnosed with 2 years or less to live, that now they can access a big portion, 85%-ish in that time, in that percentage frame, to utilize for whatever they want while they're still alive, whether it's experimental treatments, whether it is to take a lunch with the family, things like that. And we have had a great deal of stories where people, because they had this benefit, they got experimental treatment and they were able to survive. So I love it because not only are you securing people's futures for their families, but through our policies at no additional cost.
And that's a key too.
Right? At no additional cost, we're providing benefits that can save their lives, that can also provide them benefits like a chronic illness rider that we also have, that in case that they cannot perform 2 out of 6 activities of daily living, or a critical illness where we're gonna cover things like heart attack and cancer and things of that nature. So you're providing a policy that is going to be there for your client, whether they die or whether something happens along the way. And that comes in all of our products, not just term. As you say, in the term, it's a lot on price, right? We may be a little bit more expensive, not by much.
Not by much.
But we may be a little bit more. But something for you guys to take away on that is that a term policy in the industry on average, it pays out about 2% of the time.
Okay.
If you have living benefits, it's going to pay out closer to like a 5% of the time. Why? It's more likely for somebody to have a cancer than to pass away.
Totally.
So these things make sense. And as you guys truly understand the scope of benefits that you're providing to your clients with our products, I think that's whenever you start to realize how different we are as well.
And that's something that happened to us, to me especially, and whenever I have done life insurance, is that when you realize that it's never about the cost, it's about the value. And many times that client might give you some reasons not to buy. That's kind of what happens when you're talking to a client, and one of the reasons they say is, well, this is not, I'm not using the money, or it's not even for me, or they use Sancho. They say, this might be for Sancho, it might be for the next guy or something like that. Which, it is what it is. You cannot really change people's minds on certain things, but you can tell them, hey, no. This is a life insurance, but it's also an insurance that has the opportunity that if you ever have any of these triggers, any of these things happen, it can save your life. Or if it doesn't save your life, it can make that the last times that you're with your family be much, much better. And one of the things that I really like about National Life is that in the illustration, they show the numbers. They show exactly what's going to happen. So you don't have to decipher, a big application and find out, the percentages and everything like that. In the illustrations, it's already there. So when you're presenting the product, you can already talk about, kind of the way the living benefits are going to look like, and make the client understand it a little faster.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that, a great word that I like to utilize there is that because we're able to show the client exactly based on whatever they're doing, right? Exactly what's going to happen, then it makes it tangible. Mm-hmm. It makes it tangible where you're not just talking about percentages and things that may go over their head, but you can say, if this happens, this is how much the company will give you. Mm-hmm. So it makes it something that, again, makes it easy for you guys to explain. It makes it easy for the clients to understand. And that to us is a big portion of doing this on the living benefits side, right?
One of the things that I like, Daniel, about National Life, and I want everybody to know about it, is that even though they're a 175-year-old company, they don't act like it in the way that, they have an app. But not only an app, because you heard of companies that have maybe an app for the agent, but they have an app for the client. Can you go over a little bit about your technology that you guys are using?
Absolutely. And I go back, right, to us being a company that is always evolving. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that we're providing as much benefits, which also goes back to something that you guys should know, and that is that we're a mutual company, right?
Okay.
So we're a mutual company versus where most carriers out there are going to be stock companies, right? So we don't respond to any stockholders, but rather our owners of the company, the owners of a mutual company, are the clients themselves. So we're always looking at things to make better. And I think that in itself gives us a huge edge compared to what everybody else is doing, mm-hmm. as we're just trying to, again, satisfy our owners, as everybody company tries to do, mm-hmm. which in this case are the clients themselves. So as far as technology, you're absolutely right. I think that you guys will see apps for agents, and that's nothing new per se in the world. However, in the life insurance world, it's very unique. I mean, many companies out there don't evolve, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that this world is being slower to evolve than many others. Where today, as you mentioned, we have an agent app, and we also have a client app where the client can go in there, take a look at, because why? Most people, the first thing that they do whenever they wake up is do what? Look at their phone.
Thank you.
Right? So it makes it tangible. So, and now also that's the other thing that we're saying, that tangible word, which we love, as you can say, mm-hmm. as you can see, I've used it a couple of times now. Whenever you grab your phone and you see the application of National Life, it makes it tangible because they're touching something, although it's not necessarily the policy, mm-hmm. but they feel like they have something, right, that they can see. And inside that application, the client can see who their beneficiary is. They can see the monthly payments. If they have a permanent policy, they can see the cash value. They can see all the transactions in there. Not only that, they can also change their bank account if they want to do different things. So like that, we have given them the ability to basically have a full customer service experience in there. But then also, we don't take you guys out of the equation, right? Because there in the app as well, it shows up who their agent is. It shows
And the
their
phone
number,
number.
exactly everything.
It shows our phone number, which is great. And one of the other things that is, the app, what I believe it has done is that whenever I deliver a policy and they get the app, you'll be surprised how they go, this is the first time that I have an app for a life insurance product. They may have an app for their auto. They
Sure.
may have an app for others, but in that, other carriers are still kind of catching up and they haven't caught up yet. And I'm glad that on this aspect, National Life is doing that. Daniel, is when an agent that is looking at this, what is you guys' onboarding process? How can somebody start working with National Life through iPros?
Yeah, so I think that one thing that you will learn from National Life Group is that we are very big on relationships, right? So we have a great relationship with iPros, which means that as you guys get contracted with us, you guys will get trainings directly from us via Zoom, via WebEx, as we work those out with iPros for you guys to take a look at. We have a full library of videos or things of that nature for you to learn anything and everything you wanted to know about submitting business with us, different products, etc. And by the way, submitting applications with us, we can do everything online. All the way from that submission of your policy right there with your client, all the way to delivery of that to your client. If you still like, or your client still likes to receive that piece of paper, we have a simplified piece of paper where we just give them the information that they want to know, right? How much coverage they have, what benefits do they have. It comes in a nice little thing from us. And then for those clients that still like to receive that 200-page contract, we still have that.
Yeah.
So
we do a lot. We like, I mean, it might be a lot of papers, but they like that and they feel really good about it.
Absolutely. So we have everything available through there. And also on the app, they can see everything in there as well. We uploaded. So then as you, as the agent, are coming in, you will get access to all these different things. And then besides everything that we go to and do together with iPros, on our website, you guys have a full access. We do trainings every day. We do trainings on different topics that you guys can sign up for. That then,
and the good thing is these trainings are not, they're live.
Right.
They're live. So they have constantly trainings going on, and their trainings from almost like how do I start, to very, very complex things that you can also learn to do, especially on the IUL or the Index Universal Life product. Now, iPros, we will have our own sessions, to train you specifically. But the good thing is that you can go to the carrier on this way and expand your knowledge even more. There's no limit to how much knowledge you can have, because on this case, National Life has invested into having these webinars available, having these live sessions available, and that doesn't happen with other carriers.
Yeah, so no, absolutely. Our goal is to provide a seamless experience for you guys to get onboarded and get up and running with us as soon as possible, and providing, of course, all the tools necessary in order for you guys to get going. And then as well, we have a full team available for you guys as you guys have questions that can help you with anything that you may need as well right there on the fly. So from an onboarding standpoint and agent experience standpoint, you guys can rest assured that you will have all of our support for everything that you may need. Yeah,
to add to that, there's the phone number you can call and ask for an illustration. And right away, that's probably one of the best things somebody can do, can help you with illustrations and everything else. Of course, we can do it as well here with iPros, but it's good that if you're not alone, you actually have multiple people looking to help you get those signings. And another thing that I do like about National Life is this, many carriers and those have been doing health insurance for a long time, like the people that are watching, you're getting spoiled because you get the people from, I just saw a guy from LA Care come in and so forth. The health industry, I'll give you that. It's very involved. The directors, the people that are in the corporate side of the carriers are very involved with insurance agents, not so much the life insurance. And I'm really happy that, with the relation that we have with National Life, we get to experience what seems to be normal on the health insurance industry, but it's not at all normal in the life insurance industry. So I appreciate you, letting us coming in here and being part of these iProsTV.
Oh no, absolutely. We believe that relationship matters, right? And relationships with you guys, with iPros, with everybody that does business with us, is very important, which is why we take it seriously, right? You were just not too long ago at a home office in Vermont.
Yes.
And you got to spend some time with our CEO and other executives as well. So one thing that you will get from us at National Life Group is that I like to call it that we're a very human company.
Yes.
Meaning that many times you have executives that are sitting behind their desks and they kind of don't have access to everybody, where we actually like to do the opposite and make you, because you guys are the best part of the company, right? You guys are the ones that are out there talking to your clients, making these promises that we as a company are going to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And we want you guys to feel comfortable and get to know everybody inside the company as well. And also give you guys the opportunities to do things like we did.
Well, thank you so much. Juan is here in the back, but as we continue to grow here with iPros and this opportunity that we have to introduce life insurance and to get many of you guys the opportunity to learn a little bit more about this other division, that it's not to take away anything from what you're doing, but it's to add more value. In this case, working with National Life, it's definitely, it's a very easy decision to make. So I really appreciate you coming by. And that's about it. We really appreciate the opportunity to have this iProsTV. If you have any questions, let us know, send us an email, and we can help you on getting on board and start getting your contract with carriers such as National Life, and start having something extra that whenever you're talking to a client, you can help him in multiple ways.
We actually do have questions coming in.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
We have a question from Sophia. Does National Life cover for foreigner?
So we do cover foreigners. They have to, we have a couple of things that they have to do. Number one, they have to either own a home in the United States, they have to either have a business in the United States, or they have to have investments here in the United States. So as long as they meet one of those three criteria, we're able to provide benefits and do a policy for them. Now, the second caveat to that is that they will have to come here to the United States to do the application and do a blood and urine permit. So the answer, yes, they just have to meet one of those requirements and then also complete the application here in U.S. territory.
Now, I don't know if Sophia is asking foreigners as people with an ITIN, which is an individual tax number.
Yep.
Because those, they can get it without having to own or anything else. That's
Correct.
more of somebody that's in another country as it is right now.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so Sophia, if you want to clarify on that, if you're referring to somebody living outside of the U.S. per se, if that's what you meant as far as foreigner. Next question is, once I get contracted with National Life, can I run an illustration by myself?
Absolutely. So as part of your training and everything else, you actually will get trained to do that. You can do it through the website, but actually on our mobile app for the agent, you can also do a quick quote through that and run a quick illustration. So it's a matter of seconds to do it.
Perfect. Next question is, well, Sophia just clarified foreigner is really people live in other countries. So she meant somebody living
Awesome.
outside of the US. Another, you guys might be familiar with this. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. So she's asking, what is the national life rating with AM Moody or AM Moody? I'm new to this too.
Yeah,
so.
AM Best and Moody's and all those. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So we're A rated or A plus rated with AM Best, with S&P and with Moody's. So no matter who you're looking at, and actually, if I touch on that just a tad more, over the pandemic and over the past 2 years, as an industry wide, they kind of looked at it with a negative outlook, what the industry looked like, just because of losses to different carriers, that different things that are going with the economy out there. But actually, we were upgraded during that time, which was a big deal, because nobody else got upgraded in our industry. So we hold the highest ratings with all of them.
Perfect. Next question by Lucia. What % do we start with?
So that's something that you will have a conversation over here with Emmanuel. So and Emmanuel has all the commission information, and he'll be happy to have those conversations with you guys.
Correct.
Excellent. Lucy, I saw that you raised your hand if you want to go ahead and submit your question through the Q&A. Or if anybody else has questions, we're coming close to 12 p.m. If you want to send any additional questions, we'll give a few more seconds. If not, thank you again, Daniel. We're glad that you're here in this iProsTV session. Thank you also for Emmanuel for being our co-host today.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the questions. Thank you, iPros, for having me here today, Emmanuel. And we look forward to doing these sessions with you guys other times, and also look forward to getting you all going and welcoming you to the National Life Group family. Definitely.
It's a great opportunity, and we're not starting from scratch. We're starting with great relationships, and we're starting with a company that knows what they're doing, and they're definitely gotta take care of their promise, and that's the number one thing that we want to always do for our clients.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.